What up, everybody, and welcome to Bazonblades. My name is Baz, and I talk about blades, but today we are not talking about blades. We're going to talk about some drama within the blade community. And I don't know if you can tell, it's very, very difficult for me to not laugh out loud, literally, about what I have to talk about today. This drama that came out of the Blade Show 2022. Now, I didn't get a chance to go to the Blade Show this year. I was working, and I did not even know that this happened. So I want to say thank you to my man on the street, Jeffrey Orthopedic, for bringing this to my attention. It's been entertaining, to say the least. And I really don't have a dog in this race. I'm just going to throw my opinion out because I guarantee my opinion is different than everybody else's opinion out there. And if you hate me because of my opinion, fucking A, more power to you. I can promise you this, you are not the first person to ever hate Bazonblades because of his opinion or because he is prettier than you. So, apparently this year at the Blade Show, Greg Medford of Medford Knives fame printed up some t-shirts and was handing them out or selling them from his booth at the Blade Show. Greg has a problem with Chinese-produced knockoffs of his knives. Now, I am not a supporter of knockoffs. I have reviewed some copy knives, but I generally am not really into that action. I don't think it's as big a deal as a lot of people make it out to be because if you're going to buy a Medford knife, let's say, you're going to spend anywhere from like the 185 series, the Scout models, things on the lower end, you're going to be about the $400 mark entry level into his knives. Now, I've owned a couple of Medford knives. And I think the most expensive one that I bought was a titanium Praetorian drop point. And I paid like $750 for that knife. I can tell you right now, I do not currently own any Medford knives. And that is because I think they're clunky and overpriced. Now, if you like them, that's great. Clunky and overpriced is my opinion, and my opinion only. So please don't come in here trying to defend Greg Medford's knives. If you like them, you like them. I'm all for you liking them, okay? Don't get me wrong. I want to talk about Greg. I just wanted to sort of establish I'm not a Greg Medford fanboy. I'm not a fanboy of Medford knives. So what I'm going to say here is not originating from any type of stance or personal feeling like that because I'm not into his stuff. Now, Greg, he has a problem with Chinese knockoff product copying his designs and selling at a much, much lower price point. Now, I don't have the same issues with these knives that a lot of people do because the fact is, if you pay $30, $40, $100 for a Medford knockoff made in China, you are not the type of person that will pay $400, $700, $1,000, $1,200 for an actual Medford. In my opinion and in my experience, these type of knives hurt these makers very little. The people that are really into knives would never buy one. The people that just like a design and would never ever buy an expensive knife, they may buy them. I don't think that it hurts any of these makers. In fact, it probably turns people on to their designs that may or may not have known about them before because of the exorbitant price point. But I understand where Greg is coming from. When you design something, it is a true one-off original design. You are protective of that design regardless of whether there are dollars and cents involved. And you know, you can argue there are dollars and cents involved if you want to take the stance that people buy $30 knockoffs instead of $1,200 knives, which I think is absolutely ridiculous, as I have said. But you could take that stance. Now, Greg is very personally involved because these are his designs. okay? He doesn't want them ripped off. He doesn't want, whether it's realistic or not, to lose income from these rip-off knives. So I get why he gets upset about this. That said, Greg Medford is an established goofball, okay? I don't know Greg personally. I've met him once. He wouldn't remember me from jack shit. It's been years since I met him, and I just talked to him for 30 seconds maybe. But he's well known as a button pusher and a goofball within the community. He says and does things to get attention. He's almost like a roly-poly professional wrestler within the knife enthusiast community. So Greg prints up these t-shirts. It's got this stereotypical Asian character on it and some script, and it's got an outline of like a Praetorian on it, and he's speaking out against these Chinese made copies. Now, I understand that. I'm not supporting anything he's done or said, because frankly I could give a fuck less about what Greg Medford does or says, just the same as he probably could care less about what I'm going to say here. I want to talk about the reaction within the community. I just did a quick search on YouTube, and I found videos that were over an hour long of people bitching and whining and crying about Greg Medford being a racist. He put these Chinese people on this shirt with some broken Chinese English on them and an outline of one of his knives, and the shirt's basically saying that they're ripping off his designs, which they are, okay? They are doing that. That's established fact. And next thing you know, the whole knife community is like, racism, racism, racism. Look at me, I hate racism. Greg Medford is so bad. Greg Medford is a racist. People that buy Medford knives are racist. Is a knife community full of nothing but pussies? Are you such a fucking pussy that you let somebody that is widely known as a button pusher and a goofball get under your skin and live rent-free in your head? Why in the fuck does it matter what Greg Medford thinks? Is Greg Medford your daddy? Is he your brother? Is he your fucking best friend that you care so much about his opinion? Are you not man or woman enough to ignore what other people say? The guy is a known button pusher. He is a known button pusher. He pulls this shit once a year, once every couple of years. He does some goofy ass shit. He says something, it gets everybody riled up, and it draws a bunch of attention to his brand. Good for him. It's fucking free advertising. I don't even know how many videos there are on YouTube discounting the one I am making right now. And all these people, they're like universally, they're of one or two groups. One is Greg Medford supporters. Of course, he can do no wrong. He didn't mean it as a racism. He's not a racism ors. You know, we love his knives. We don't care what he thinks. Then you got the other sides, and they're like, racism, racism, racism. My touchy-feelies are so tingly, hurting bad right now because Greg Medford made some t-shirts. I can't believe it. The Chinese are going to be so offended. Therefore, I have to be offended for them because they're subhuman and can't be offended for themselves. I've got to be offended for them. Therefore, I've got to go on the internet and act like a giant pussy. If you are on the internet whining about this stupid shit that a known button pusher is doing, you are a pussy. Period. Period. Go down to your doctor and get a fucking testosterone shot and swell your nuts up to man size where you can ignore stupid ass shit that stupid motherfuckers do on the internet and at the Blade Show. Who gives a fuck what Greg Medford says about anything? If you like his knives, you like his knives. If you're a personal friend of his, you're a personal friend of his. If none of that applies to you, fucking ignore that motherfucker. You're a fucking pussy if you are on the internet making videos about how you are offended by a t-shirt that Greg Medford, somebody you probably don't even fucking know in person, or maybe you've met him at the Blade Show or whatever. I doubt seriously he's ever invited you over to his home to share dinner with him and sit down and have a cold drink with him. Why does what this guy say or do with a t-shirt matter so much to you that you have to go online and start virtue signaling like a bunch of overweight lesbians with Kool-Aid colored hair out on the street crying because they think they're going to lose the right to murder their babies? That's what you all sound like. That's what you sound like. A bunch of fucking pussies. Grow up. Learn to ignore what people say and do that don't fucking matter. Greg Medford, outside of Medford Knives, outside of his family, he does not fucking matter. For these people to be so upset about this is laughable. Laughable. I just watched a video. The video was an hour and 20 minutes long. I made it about 3.5 minutes into the video and felt like I wanted to stab my fucking eyes out. I'll never be able to take that memory out of my mind about how big of a pussy the guy in the video was, because he's crying about Greg Medford printed up an anti-Chinese racism fucking knife copy t-shirt. Boo fucking who? Get the fuck over it. If you are that upset about it, you need to get some therapy in which, depending on how much you pay your therapist, they're probably going to tell you, stop being a pussy. Ignore people that do stupid shit just to get attention. That is what Greg Medford does. He's always done that. It's established. It's fucking established. That's his personality. And I got to tell you right now, I'm going to tell you right now, I'm not taking any sides on this because I don't give a flying fuck about any of it. But you guys that are letting this guy live rent-free in your head, it's worse than the Kool-Aid haired lesbians that want to get abortions. It's like the fucking little metrosexual guys that hate Trump. It's Trump, Trump, Trump. Everything out of their mouth is Trump. Everything's Trump's fault. Trump was a racist. He was a sexist. He's fucking white supremacist. He's part of the patriarchy. The motherfucker's not even president anymore. They're still upset. Greg Medford's like the fucking Trump of the knife world. Living rent-free in your pussy ass head. Grow up, grow a pair, and learn how to be a man that doesn't have to be affected by things that other people say and other people do that do not directly impact you. That is what this world needs. We don't need a bunch of sensitive Nancy girl boys out there that are offended at every little thing that anybody says or does. And that is what I think about this. As always, thank you very much for taking the time to watch one of my videos. I know I use a lot of profanity, but I still say God bless all of you. I'll have to answer for that profanity myself, and we will see you again.